What's up everyone? Welcome to my Legendary Hero analysis of Legendary Lyn. Legendary Lyn is the second wind hero, and as of now she's the only green bow in the game, which makes her kind of an odd unit, but she's certainly unique, so at least there's that. Now let's take a look at her stats. As you can see here, she has 36 base HP, 31 base attack, which is, kinda meh, 36 base speed, which is really good, 21 base defense, which is not really that good, and 27 base res. As you can see here, she has basically the stat spread of a player face unit, although her unique bow, Swift Mulagir or whatever you want to pronounce it, gives her plus 3 res, so effectively brings her res up to 30 at base, which is pretty nice considering her unique skill as well. Now these stats seem pretty good and all, but we have to see that she has 2 Super Banes and 1 Super Boon. The Super Banes are actually really detrimental to her because she has a Super Bane in attack and resistance, both stats which she uses, so that's really nasty, and her Super Boon is in HP, which is not really a stat that you want to keep for her, so that's pretty bad. All in all, you can see that her attack is pretty, below average, let's say. Her speed is really her main strength, because with a boon she gets up to 39 speed, which is really good, and that allows her to get to 43 speed or higher really easily, especially thanks to her bow. All in all, looking at her IV stats, we can see that she's not nearly as forgiving as a unit like, Female Grima that I covered in the last video. She actually has a lot of really nasty IV stats because of her Super Bane attack and the fact that she really needs her speed to do most of the work. Like for any player phase unit, plus speed and minus defense or minus HP are probably her best IV sets, while her worst IV sets are plus HP minus attack or minus speed, or plus defense minus attack and minus speed. Generally speaking, anything that lowers her offenses is really detrimental. Now let's take a look at her vanilla set. She comes with a unique weapon called Swift Mulagir that gives her res plus 3, and if the number of allies within 2 spaces excluding the unit is greater than the number of foes within 2 spaces excluding the target, grants attack and speed plus 5 during combat. This weapon is truly amazing and synergizes very well with her kit in general, because it's basically like a 19 might weapon that gives plus 5 speed and plus 3 res. That is, if you can position her correctly. You can use it even on enemy phase to give her more attack and speed. Then she comes with rally defense and res, which is pretty good. She also comes with a unique A skill like a Female Grima called Laws of Sakai. This skill is really weird, as it gives her plus 4 to all her stats on the enemy phase if there are 2 or more allies within 2 spaces of her. This skill, though it is undoubtedly really good, it doesn't really synergize with her stats or with her role in general. It's kind of weird. I'm actually losing my mind. Why would you want these boosts on the enemy phase exclusively with this kind of restrictive condition on it? Granted, unlike Fury, it doesn't have a drawback. It doesn't take her HP away. Big whoop. So yeah, think really hard before using this skill. Her B skill is Desperation, which is actually way more fitting with her stats than her A skill, and with her base speed and with Swift Mulagir giving her plus 5 speed, she's gonna be able to take advantage of Desperation really easily. Also comes with a new inheritable C skill, which is Speed Tactic, and that completes all of the tactic skills, which is nice and all and whatever. I wish I had more to talk about here, but really there's not really much to say here. She's a player phase unit. Thanks to her bow, she has a lot of speed, a lot of attack, so just use her as you would any other offensive ranged unit. I guess someone can argue about using Laws of Sakai, but I really cannot see it. I suppose there are kind of 2 or 3 sets in which you can use it, but it's not really too relevant in a whole scheme of things. Now let's actually take a look at her sets. The first one is a budget set that utilizes basically her whole vanilla kit and gives her Moonbow as her special and Distant Defense as her Sacred Seal. I mean, if you really don't want to replace Laws of Sakai, may as well give her Distant Defense, which combined with Laws of Sakai gives her 40 resistance on the enemy phase, which is pretty nice. This set, I can already see it giving quite a lot of trouble in arena defense, and it's definitely a really annoying set. especially since Bowbreaker doesn't actually work on her since she's a green bow. The second and third set are Heavy Blade sets, which utilize Life and Death and Fury. Life and Death is obviously more powerful, while Fury is more reliable. Thanks to the effect of Swift Mulager, her attack is gonna reach 55 with her Life and Death set, and 53 with her Fury set, which is kind of amazing, and this makes me really glad that her base attack is only 31. Like, imagine this on Brave Lyn. They're not gonna give Swift Mulager to Brave Lyn, right? Let's hope it doesn't happen. The fourth set is the set I'm actually gonna run on her, which runs with Sparrow, which is kind of a middle ground between Life and Death and Fury, and has her with Res Tacting and Defense Tactics, since she doesn't really want her defenses. The fifth and sixth sets are for the people who really want to invest in Laws of Sacae, which, don't quote me on this, I don't think is really good on her. It's like really good skill, but I don't really support it. Anyway, the fifth set runs Dull Ranged, has her B skill, and Attack Smoke as her C skill, with obviously Distant Defense as her Sacred Seal. Dull Ranged is a really overlooked skill that actually works really well with fast enemy phase units, since they don't really need Quick Repose to double their opponent. So this can actually contribute a lot to her stats, nullifying the bonuses on ranged enemies. The final set runs Guard instead, and what this does is it counters units like Reinhardt, so you can have her as your Reinhardt killer, which is pretty nice. Since if Reinhardt initiates on you, he won't be able to proc Moonbow, so you'll be safe from a lot of damage, and that's cool and all or whatever. Now let's talk about teammates. Because her blessing gives +3 HP and +2 attack, brave weapon users can really use this boost a lot. People like Arden, Reinhardt with the sword, Ogma, Elincia, Alm, Donald, Est, Reinhardt, you know, the normal one, Finn, Effie, Abel, and other units. The blessing can also benefit Heavy Blade users such as Brave Roy, Soleil, Paladin Chrom, Fallen Celica, and Eliwood. Obviously, you know, there are people like Effie, like Est that can also use a Heavy Blade, but I also already mentioned them. And because of Swift Mulager's effect, weapons that give drive-like effects are also really synergistic with Legendary Lyn. For example, Kinshi Hinoka's Warrior Princess Bow, the Norian Summer weapons, the New Year's weapons, Sonaki's Cymbeline, and most importantly, Marth's Falchion. This is because, to take advantage from the +5 attack and speed from Swift Mulager, Legendary Lyn has to be within 2 spaces of an ally. Now, because of the current meta game in which we are right now, if you go into the arena without a counter to Reinhardt and Brave Lyn, you're kinda screwing yourself. As such, I strongly recommend using a Ground Raven Plus user or a Green Dragon to make up for your weakness. Because even with one of the enemy phase sets I shown before, maybe you could be able to deal with Reinhardt, but certainly not with Brave Lyn. At least not 100% reliably. Let's quickly take a look at some examples with common or free-to-play units. The first team is Legendary Lyn, Marth, Finn, and Cecilia. Marth has recently been demoted to 3-star and 4-star, so you can easily get him now. Finn is a free Tempest Rider reward unit, and Cecilia can be obtained for free in the daily hero battle rotation. As you can see, this team is formed by 2 infantry and 2 cavalry, so the tactics take effect. The second team is a mixed guidance team, and it has Black Knight, Est, and Faye. Now granted, the Tempest trial in which Black Knight was available was a long time ago, but still. Est is a 3-star to 4-star unit, and Faye has recently been demoted to the 3-star and 4-star pool. This team is composed of 2 infantry, an armor unit, and a flyer, so not only tactics take effect, but also guidance is a really useful skill to have. Now let's talk about stacking Lyn's Blessing with Guntra's Blessing, and giving a total of +6 HP, +2 attack, and +4 resistance to the other 2 units. This boost is not really as crazy as the +6 HP, +2 attack, and +3 speed that give Legendary Ike and Female Grima, and the fact that both legendaries are green is kinda wild. This means that you're not running a Ground Raven user or a Green Dragon unless you want to upset the weapon triangle balance. So that kinda sucks. And especially one thing that needs to be kept in mind line is that if you don't bring a sword user or a red dragon, the whole team dies to Myr. She is quite literally the spawn of Satan for your team, because if you bring a red mage instead, well, if you don't one-shot her, she might just kill you. This is especially relevant in high tier arena, where you see plus 10 merge Myr with distant counter and IOT shield literally everywhere. Nothing's safe. So, you know, no pressure. Anyway, in a team with Legendary Lyn and Gunnthrá, the best kind of units to bring are basically two types. On the one hand, you have ploy users, obviously red and blue ones, units like Sheeta, Fer, Florina, Est, Micaiah, Lute, Sayas, and Morgan. I didn't put Arvis here because Arvis gets absolutely annihilated by Myr, so don't run him in your red slot, even though he's technically a better unit than Sayas. These units mainly have two roles, supporting Legendary Lyn and supporting Gunnthrá. Mainly Gunnthrá, seeing as her tome gets more powerful the more debuffs are on the enemy, and ploys are really reliable ways to get debuffs. These units benefit a lot from the combined blessing of Gunnthrá and Legendary Lyn, because Sheeta, Fer, Florina, Est, and Micaiah in particular can use the +2 attack really well, since Fer's attack is really low at base, and so is Florina's. Sheeta and Micaiah wield weapons that are effective against 2 movement types, and Est, the meme herself, well, obviously she's the best. She runs a Brave Lance set. Now the other kind of unit that really benefits from the 2 combined blessings is distant counter users. And boy oh boy, there are a lot of distant counter users. Harden, Camus, Tiki, Tiki again, Noe, Kana, Sigurd, Zalgius, Black Knight, Ike, Reinhardt with a sword, Effie, Xander, regular Roy, and well, if you can afford it, you can basically run distant counter on so many units. But anyway, distant counter users mainly use the rest from Gunnthrás blessing, although the attack and HP from Lyn's blessing is also pretty nice. Now again, let's take a look at a couple of team examples for Lyn and Gunnthrá together. Apart from Legendary Lyn and Gunnthrá, the units shown in these examples are all free-to-play units or really easy to get units. The first example has Legendary Lyn, Gunnthrá, Adult Tiki, and Est. Adult Tiki and Est are both available in the 3-star and 4-star pool, so you can easily get both of them. And as you can see, I use Est as the ploy user and Tiki as the defensive core. Really similar to the other team, the second team uses Legendary Lyn, Gunnthrá, Xander, and Sayas. Xander is available in the daily Grand Hero Battle rotation, so he's really easy to get, although his map is really tough, and Sayas is also a recent Grand Hero Battle unit. And again, I'm using my blue for the ploys, while I'm using my red for the defenses. And as you can notice, both teams also work with tactics, since they don't have more than 2 units per movement type. And well, that basically concludes it. If you liked this video, well then, share it around, click the like, hit the subscribe if you want to see more of this in the future, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.